Oh, I got that one right there too. Oh, I got one of those too. Oh, I got a bunch of those too. Okay. So we're at Poots. Oh, look at the moss over there on the ladder. That's cool. You guys like Poots?
Poots? What are Poots?
This is Poots Cactus Nursery. And I follow them on Facebook. Go. That one's crazy. Look at that. Pick them up.
His diaper keeps falling.
What's up, Jeffries?
I want none.
Let's go, babe. Guys, don't get all wet, please. Look, they got flying squirrels here. You guys want to put your puppets away yet? You guys want to put your puppets away yet? There's the big stump. You like that? Yeah? Let's go up here, man. Careful, it's slippery.
So this is the
Yeah.
tree that fell down?
This was a whole tree. It's huge, huh? See?
Is there any more of these squares over here?
Yeah.
Are they actually standing up though?
There's one right there.
Which one?
Right there.
Is this a sequoia?
Look behind it now.
Oh, where?
Look at me, guys. Running.
Jump on. No, let's act like we're act like we're like looking at the tree right there. Act like I'm about to go down this thing.
You want to?
Yes, you're supposed to walk. Okay, walk. Alright, now Uncle, go to Lucy and Santa.
Rock. Where is it?
It fell somewhere.
Oh.
I don't know where it went though. Yours? Yeah, I just used that for fun, but I have 2 more. Not here.
Oh crap, I got snow in my pants.
All along here. It is? Do not step on any snow. Yeah, and John, I'm scared. Oh!
It might sink. Come down this way more.
Now I jump from here. I can jump those up. There's like a hole right there. Yeah, I can step right there. Step like that.
Make sure you jump out at least a foot.
Ow.
Don't slip when you're jumping. It's a snow angel. First time I see a Bigfoot, get the prize.
What?
First time I see a Bigfoot, get the prize.
We have a Bigfoot.
Yeah. You're supposed to live around here. Number 2. Giant Sequoias, also known as Sierra redwoods, are the largest living thing ever to exist on Earth. The fossil records of redwoods date back 180 million years to the age of dinosaurs, and individuals can live over 3,000 years. Once widespread, they grow naturally only in 75 groves on the western slope of the Sierra Nevada. Give it a hug. Just see if you can hold hands and see how far you can get around it. Hold hands, see how far you can reach. That's it? Come on this way. This way. Don't parkour into your butt. Ah, Jason Voorhees is chasing us.
You gotta stop going around me. I'm done.
Oh, there's number 3.
Number 3.
This section of wood lying on the ground is big enough to be a fallen tree, but instead is a piece of branch that dropped off a nearby sequoia. From the ground, sequoia branches may not appear to be incredibly large, but some have been measured over 6 feet in diameter. So that was just a branch that fell off.
Wow. That was a branch?
Yeah,
How is that a branch?
because they're huge. Let's go. Oh, here's number 4. Number 4. Oh, look, there's a cave. You want the cave? During a September night in 1965, the central tree in this group fell. Weakened by heavy winds, it crashed down with such force that many people thought an earthquake had occurred. The long lifespan of these trees is partly due to the stable structure of their symmetrical trunks and wide bases. However, if the trunk is weakened by large burn scars or the root system affected by erosion or fungus, they can topple in heavy wind. Falling over is one of the few things that can actually kill a giant sequoia. Large trees such as this has been estimated to weigh about 2,600 tons, about as much as a small ocean-going freighter or 18 blue whales. Hey, one of these trees weighs as much as 18 whales.
Dad, there's an icicle.
Nice. Did you hear that? One of these trees weighs as much as 18 whales. As you walk past these trees, you can see that mature giant sequoias have a shallow, spreading root system rather than a long taproot. The roots extend only 6 to 8 feet under the soil surface, yet can grow outwards to encompass an entire acre. This allows the smaller feeder roots to collect water and nutrients from the rich Sierra soil to support the growth of these huge trees. Sequoia seedlings spend the first few years of life developing a strong root system before putting much energy into their development. Several plants are growing in the soil left behind the roots of this fallen tree. Come on, guys. Known as the Empire State, this majestic old tree is now probably the largest giant sequoia in the North Grove. Its base diameter is 30 feet, while 4.5 feet above the ground, the tree is still 20 feet in diameter. And at 48 feet above ground, it is still 16 feet in diameter. Though there may still be taller trees in the grove, this one has the greatest mass. This tree twists noticeably to the right. Spiral growth is a common characteristic of tree trunk development, although bark patterns often hide this fact. Trees with spiral growth are more flexible and therefore better able to withstand wind stress and snow loadings. Spiral growth patterns are prevalent through the natural world, taking shape and just form as snails, shells, sheep horns, and even giant entire galaxies. Can you find any other spiral patterns in the forest?
I'm gonna climb up from right there.
Careful. Amazes him. The Siamese twins started life so close together that the first 50 feet of their trunks had merged and now appear to be one tree. Large burn scars were created by burning fuel that was caught between the two trees. Look for a horizontal cut in the bark of the tree on the right of the twins. This was possibly the location of one of the marble name plaques which were placed on many of the trees starting in the early 1860s. Bark and wood were all collected from the trees for souvenirs such as pincushions, candle holders, and carved animals. In some groves, the bark was removed and shredded for house insulation. So the twins, first 50 feet came together. There it is. There it is. There it goes. Look how tiny they are. They're little cuties. They're little cute squirrels. They're cuties, little tiny squirrels. Look back down the trail and up to see the old bachelor standing on the hill. This massive gnarled branches tell us that this tree is quite old. With incredible age and girth, it became more difficult for a giant sequoia to support the growth of a top. The old bachelor's top has died and may eventually be knocked off by wind. Lightning or heavy snows, leaving the tree with a rounded crown more typical of a very old giant sequoia. Notice how woodpeckers have chosen a particular section of bark in which to drill their holes. This could be due to previous damage in the tree that has resulted in thin bark growing in the area, making it easier for woodpeckers to excavate. You're about to cross Big Tree Creek, which drains the North Grove Basin. Although tiny, this creek is able to support a population of native trout. Giant sequoia groves are always located near a reliable source of water. The display panel at this stop describes the rite of life that is found in the vertical world of the sequoias. After reading this panel, take a few minutes to relax on the reclining bench and observe the life supported by these trees. Some people think this is the best way to see a giant sequoia. These two trees were named the mother and son because of their difference in size, but they probably began life at about the same time. The mother has been more successful while the son has lost much of his top to wind or lightning. Where's the sun? Over here? That's the mother, that must be the son. Oh, it's right there. John M. Wooster was one of the earlier explorers to visit the grove in 1850. That was 2 years before Dowd's discovery, but Wooster failed to make his discovery known. He claimed to have carved his name on this tree before it fell, but the evidence is gone now. The several earlier discoveries of giant sequoias by Euro-Americans went unnoticed largely due to the preoccupation with the gold rush and the struggle to survive the California wilderness. This tree, named Hercules, was one of the largest in the grove. It was blown down during a violent windstorm in December 1861. Knowing that it had been lying here for over a century gives us valuable perspective on the age of other fallen trees in the grove. The father of the forest fell to earth long before Euro-Americans discovered the grove. The process of decomposition occurs very slowly in sequoias because of the tanning in the heartwood. You can think of this tree as a huge time-release vitamin capsule, slowly replenishing the soil like a giant planter box. It has made an excellent seed bed for mosses, shrubs, and dogwoods. This tree has always been a favorite setting for photographers. Early photos show a brass band and a troop of cavalry posts on the top of the trunk and people poking their heads through the holes where massive branches once grew. Come on, man. I was wondering why.
Makes the car warm when you go inside it. It's so clear. Okay, can I go through the other side?
Is it wet?
Oh, no.
Okay. Hi, bub.
Where's going? Go hurry. I made it. Oh, why did you follow me?
Yeah.
Together again.
Branch.
Oh, they're having babies.
One sec. One sec. The huge blackened snag in front of you is named the Mother of the Forest. It is one of several trees in this grove that were severely harmed by human activity. When spectators removed the bark from this tree in 1854, it was mortally wounded. Since the inner bark carries manufacturing sugars throughout the tree could not survive for long with this layer removed. With the outer layer of protective bark on, the tree lost all its resistance to fire, as you can see by the wood chart of the fire of 1908. If you look closely, you can still see the horizontal star marks in the wood that were made in removing the bark. You are now in the area that was burned in the 1908 fire. The fire created ideal growing conditions for giant sequoia seedlings, and today they are the healthy stand of young sequoias here. Many of these trees are the result of natural regeneration that happens after a fire, while others were planted during the 1930s by members of the Civilian Conservation Corps, looking for their reddish bark and feathery juniper-like foliage. Some of the young sequoias are already close to over 100 feet tall with over a 2-foot diameter, while others of the same age are still small and scraggly. Eventually the smaller trees will die, leaving only the faster growing individuals. Your trees have reached the age when they can begin producing cones with viable seeds. 17. This old road is a side road to the Carson Immigrant Trail. Snowshoe Thompson sometimes uses this route during his 20 years of carrying mail from Murphys to Carson City. During the winters of 1865 to 1876, he regularly skidded 90 miles over the Sierra Crest carrying 60 pounds of mail in Little East Elf. This is also called the Old Camel Trail, as a group of 9 camels imported from Mongolia passed through in 1861 on their way to Nevada. From here you have a view into the heart of the grove, which has been at this site for thousands of years. Notice the rounded crowns and large branches that are typical of the older sequoias. The larger trees you see here could be anywhere from 800 to 3,000 years old.
King of rocks. Oh, yeah.
Clock bed. "19. The common practice of early times was to name individual big trees after important people. This beautiful symmetrical tree was named for Abraham Lincoln just after his death in 1865. If you could name some of these trees, what would you choose? On the ground around the tree, you'll see many of the egg-shaped female cones. It takes 2 years for each cone to mature. The much smaller male cones on the tree tops contain pollen that is blown around the grove during the spring. The pollen must come into contact with the female eggs for the seeds to develop. The seeds resemble a flake of oatmeal with 6,000 weighing just 1 ounce. Until they mature, the cones can stay on the tree over 20 years until you are acted upon by some outside agent, such as fire, wind, snow, harvesting by chickarees, also called Douglas squirrels, or insect activity. A large tree may bear as many as 40,000 cones at once, opening about 1,500 each year, with each cone containing an average of 200 of these tiny seeds. These trees have the potential to produce an enormous number of seedlings, but only if the conditions are right. Male seed seedling. That's the seat.
Huh?
That's the seat.
What?
The saddle. You're supposed to ride it like a saddle.
No,
I'm just kidding. You're not gonna be able to get up there. No fighting. Back in the saddle.
I want a picture. And Lucy are enjoying the famous Melanie Martinez drink if my tongue is numb now. Oh my god. It's so sweet.
You may notice not all the trees are sequoias. Giant sequoias do not grow in pure strands as do on the coastal redwoods, but exist as part of the Sierra mixed coniferous forest. This is an interrelated community of plants and animals that lives between 2,000 and 7,000 feet elevation on the western slope of the Sierra Nevada. Plant and animal distribution in Sierra Nevada is controlled by altitude, rainfall, temperature, slope, aspect, and soil type. Since much of the community has been logged elsewhere, the large conifers, most in the grove, are now rare outside parks and preserves. The most common trees of this community are illustrated below. How many can you find? Sugar pine, giant sequoia, white fir, incense cedar, ponderosa bat. Cedar. Go back. Take your hand again. Sasquatch! I see one! It's a black one!
Where?
Right there!
Oh,
A little one! Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah! I see one! What's up, Squatchy? What's up, Squatch?
Have you ever heard of a beef coon?
No.
It has the head of a beaver and the body of a raccoon.
Oh.
It's fake. And
Look at that tree right there. It's all curved. It's got a huge curve in it. Look at that tunnel. Oh, there's gold under it.
Can I go in there?
A fallen giant. That fell in 2017. Used to be able to walk through it and see. Look, you can take my bucket.
So this you used to
See, that used to.
There's no snow, it's all snow. Man, I can't close my finger with my other. Wow.
Come on. Bye-bye. $26. This platform was built near this group of sequoias so that you can have a close-up view of these ancient giants. Please do not climb on the trees. Gently touch the soft, fibrous bark. Thick protective material is one of the keys to the light and lifespan of giant sequoias. It often grows to be 2 feet thick, lacks flammable pitch, and contains high amounts of chemical tannin, thereby providing protection from fire. Tannin also protects against diseases that affect other types of trees in this area. Giant sequoia bark is used by animals in several ways. Torn strips of bark are used as nesting materials for chickadees, as well as several types of birds. Carpenter ants chew tunnels into the bark that are used as broad chambers for their larvae. Red-breasted sapsuckers drill holes in the bark near the treetops and return later to feed on insects caught in the sap. Several types of animals roll at the base of these trees in the tannin-filled dark dust, which is thought to repel parasites such as lice and fleas. We hope you have enjoyed your walk through the big trees in the Calaveras North Grove. We think you'll agree that the words John Muir wrote about the North Grove in 1876 still hold true today. To the free mountaineer, all the woods are accessible alike, from the firs that girdle icy Shasta to the giant forests of the Tule. But the time-bound must follow ways and means, and are of no better than those of Calaveras, a flowery glade in the heart of the woods, forming a center for the student and delicious resting place for the weary.